Hello aspirants, this is me Yasmin Gill presenting to you the PIB MCQs of 1st of February. So do follow all these videos on this particular link, plus you can also rate and review the course. So let's begin with a couple of instructions. Do watch yesterday's PIB summary, extremely important because there are a lot many questions from economics and particularly from budget today. Also, as soon as you do all these questions, do mention your scorecard. Beginning with the first question, what is true of the recent budget measures for electoral funding? A. Anonymous donation amount has been brought down to rupees 2000. B. Section 29C of RP 1951 mandates political parties to declare all donations above rupees 2000. C. Both of them are correct, or D. None of them is correct. So, well, the correct answer to this question is only A. Why? Because as per the section of the RPA Act 1951, it is the mandatory disclosure of donations above rupees 20,000. But now, as per budget, the anonymous donation, that is without giving your name, you can donate up to using cash up to rupees 2,000 only. Next, what is true of FIPB or Foreign Investment Promotion Board? A. It comes under Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. B. It is an inter-ministerial body. C. FIPB was initially constituted under the PMO. D. Board was reconstituted in 1996 with transfer of FIPB to DIPP. DIPP is Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. E. It cleared proposals up to rupees 5,000 crores. So see, if you look at the first option, first is wrong. Why? Because FIPB, though it comes under Ministry of Finance, but under Department of Economic Affairs. B is absolutely correct. C is also correct. Initially under PMO, then from PMO later on it was transferred to DIPP, and finally it was transferred to Ministry of Finance. Now do mention in the comment section DIPP comes under which ministry, and if you look at E, this is also correct. So here, other than A, we have all of the options as correct. Which of the following are the railway PSUs which have been recently in the budget proposed to be listed on stock exchanges? A. IRCTC, DMRC, Concor, IRFC, IRCON. And the correct answer to this question is C. If you look at the next slide, the correct answer is all of the following begins from I, and there are 3 of such railway PSUs whose stocks will be now listed on the stock exchanges. So IRCTC, IRFC and IRCON. Next. What is true of MAT, that is minimum alternate tax, and AMT, that is alternate minimum tax? A. MAT was introduced by Finance Act 1987. B. MAT applies to persons other than a company. C. AMT applies to a company. So correct answer to this question is only A. MAT was introduced by Finance Act 1987, and B and C both are reversed. So MAT applies to a company while AMT applies to a person. Next. What is true of the recent proposed measures related to GST and cess? A. Proposed GST is to subsume all cesses. B. Earlier the GST Council had proposed to levy an additional levy of cess on sin goods. C. Both of them are correct, or D. None of them is correct. So correct answer to this question is only B. See, in the current budget, what has happened is that proposed GST is to subsume not all cesses, all rather than the cesses that are on petroleum. Plus, if you look at the recommendations of the GST Council, it actually excluded certain cesses. For example, it proposed an additional cess on sin goods. Sin goods include goods such as tobacco, cigarettes, aerated drinks, and so on. So hereby we have only B as the correct answer. Next. Which among them is a suggestion of N.K. Sinha Committee? So it has recently submitted its report. So what are the suggestions? A. Maintaining a debt to GDP ratio of 60% by 2020. B. A fiscal deficit of 3% for next 3 fiscal years. C. Incorporation of an escape clause of 1% point of GDP in certain unavoidable triggering circumstances. So looking at the options here, see, in this question only B is the correct answer. Why? Because this debt to GDP ratio of 60% is to be maintained by 2023. And if you look at the escape clause, that is due to certain, say, sort of natural calamities or certain other triggers whereby more money is required to be pushed in by government. In that case, there is an escape clause, but that is not 1% point, rather 0.5% point. So we here have only B as the correct answer. Next. Which among them is not one among the strategic oil reserves of India? Padur, Bangalore, Kakinada, Chandikol, Bikaner. So correct answer to this question is C. They have asked which among them is not. So it is Bangalore is not one of them. In fact, Mangalore is. If you look at Kakinada, this is also not one of them. Instead, we have Vishakhapatnam. So these are the 5. I would say Padur is one. Then we have Bangalore and Visakhapatnam, and then we have Chandigarh and Bikaner. Now do mention where is Padur located, in which state. So we here have B and C as the ones which are not the strategic oil reserves. Next, which among them is true? A. Long-term capital assets are taxed at 20%. B. Short-term capital assets are taxed at 30%. C. Periods for gain to qualify as a long-term in case of immovable property is 3 years. So the correct answer to this question is only C. Why? If you look at the short-term and the long-term capital assets, these are reversed. Sorry, hereby only A and B are the correct answer. Sorry, if you look at the C, this one is wrong. Why? Because see, earlier, while the time period for classifying as a long-term asset, it was 3 years, but now it is 2 years, and as far as the tax go, it is rightly mentioned here. So long-term capital asset at 20%, short-term at 30%. So we here have A and B as the correct answer. Next, what is true of MSIPS, that is the Modified Special Incentive Scheme? A. The scheme is available for both new projects and expansion projects. B. The scheme provides capital subsidy of 25% in special economic zone. C. It provides a capital subsidy of 20% in non-special economic zone. D. The incentives are available for 10 years from the date of approval. So in this question, we have A and D as the correct answer. Why? Because in special economic zone, the capital subsidy is less. It is 20%, while in non-special economic zone, it is 25%. So these are reversed. So we here have A and D as the correct answer. Next question. What is true of the Payment Regulatory Board? That is the proposed Payment Regulatory Board. A. It will be headed by Finance Minister. B. It will be a 5-member board. C. It aims to strengthen the grievance redressal for electronic payments. D. It will replace the existing board for regulation and supervision of payment and settlement system. E. BPSS, that is the board for regulation and supervision of payment and settlement system, earlier existed as a subcommittee of RBI Central Board. So looking at the options here, the correct answer to this question is C, D and E. Why are A and B wrong? Because firstly, this particular board, that is Payment Regulatory Board, won't be headed by Finance Minister, rather RBI Governor. If you look at B, it is not a 5-member, rather it is a 6-member board to be formed inside RBI only. So we here have C, D, E as the correct answer. So friends, that's it for today. In case you find the initiative useful, please do not forget to rate and review the same. Thank you so much.